Hello and welcome. Have you ever found yourself, perhaps in a quiet moment of reflection, feeling like there's a dimension of your own experience, particularly as a woman, that's still waiting to be fully understood, fully embraced? Maybe it's a curiosity that's been gently nudging you, a sense that there's more to discover about your own body, your own capacity for joy and connection, than you were perhaps taught or encouraged to explore. It's a common feeling, especially as we journey through life, moving into our 30s and beyond, seeking deeper connections not just with others, but profoundly with ourselves. We start to question, to explore, and to desire a more complete understanding of who we are, in every beautiful and intricate aspect. Today we're going to embark on such a journey together. A respectful, empowering, and I hope enlightening exploration into a topic that, for far too long, has often been shrouded in mystery, sometimes even misinformation, or simply not discussed openly enough. We're talking about female pleasure, and as part of that, we'll be delving into understanding specific aspects like the G-spot. Now, why is this important, you might ask? Why dedicate time to this on a channel that's all about growth, mindset, and strength? Well, because understanding our bodies, embracing our capacity for pleasure, is not something frivolous or secondary. It's an integral part of our overall well-being, our confidence, our sense of self, and yes, even our mental and emotional strength. It's about reclaiming a narrative that is rightfully ours, feeling empowered in our own skin, and truly appreciating the incredible, intricate design of our bodies. When we understand ourselves more deeply, we can live more fully, and that, at its heart, is a profound form of personal growth. In this video, and in the discussions that will follow, we're going to gently peel back some of those layers of mystery and perhaps even discomfort that can surround this topic. We'll talk about what we know from both scientific understanding and shared human experience, and importantly, how this knowledge can enrich our lives. This isn't just about anatomical facts. It's about how understanding these intimate aspects of ourselves can lead to a deeper sense of self-awareness, greater joy, improved intimacy if we choose to share it, and ultimately, a more profound sense of fulfillment and personal power. So, where do we begin this exploration? Perhaps the most important starting point is to simply acknowledge the space we're entering. For many of us, the conversation around female pleasure, let alone specific anatomical details, hasn't always been open, easy, or even encouraged. Historically, and in many cultures still, female sexuality and pleasure have been subjects approached with hesitation, sometimes even shame, or they've been defined largely through a lens that wasn't our own. This silence, or the circulation of myths and partial truths, can create a kind of internal barrier, a reluctance to even ask questions or seek knowledge. But knowledge, as we know, is power. And in this context, it's the power of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-celebration. Part of building mental strength and fostering personal growth is about challenging outdated narratives, both societal and those we may have internalized, and daring to learn and embrace all facets of our being. So, the very act of engaging with this topic, of being open to learning, is in itself an act of empowerment. Now, when we talk about female pleasure, it's a wonderfully complex and multifaceted experience. For so long, the focus has been incredibly narrow. But our bodies are designed for a rich tapestry of sensation. The primary center for direct sexual pleasure in women is, of course, the clitoris, an organ uniquely dedicated to this purpose, with thousands of nerve endings. Understanding and appreciating its role is absolutely fundamental. However, the conversation often becomes a little less clear, or more filled with questions, when we start to discuss other areas of potential pleasure like the G-spot. You've likely heard the term, perhaps read varying accounts, or wondered about its reality and significance. Let's try to bring some clarity here, moving away from the idea of it being some kind of magical, elusive button, and more towards understanding it as a specific area. The G-spot, named after Dr. Ernst Grafenberg, who described it in the 1950s, is generally understood to be an area of heightened sensitivity located on the front wall of the vagina, a few inches inside, behind the pubic bone. It's not a distinct, separate organ in the way the clitoris is, but rather a region that, for many women, can produce a different kind of pleasurable sensation when stimulated, sometimes leading to a powerful arousal and even a distinct type of orgasm. Think of it as part of the clitourethrovaginal complex, a network of erectile tissue, nerves, glands, like the Skene's glands, which are sometimes considered the female prostate and are implicated in female ejaculation, and blood vessels that all play a role in sexual response. So, stimulating this area can indirectly stimulate parts of the internal clitoral structure as well, as the clitoris is much larger than what is visible externally, extending inwards. Understanding this interconnectedness is key. It's not about isolating one spot, but appreciating how different areas can contribute to a holistic experience of pleasure. One of the most important things to understand, and this is crucial for reducing any pressure or feelings of inadequacy, is that the experience of G-spot pleasure is incredibly variable from woman to woman. Some women find stimulation of this area intensely pleasurable, leading to deep, powerful orgasms. Others may find the sensation pleasant but not overwhelming, while some may not find it particularly erotic at all, or may even find direct pressure uncomfortable. And all of these experiences are perfectly normal and valid. Our bodies are unique, our nerve distributions are unique, and what feels good is deeply personal. There's no single right way to experience pleasure, and the G-spot is no exception. The narrative that every woman must experience mind-blowing pleasure from this specific spot, or that there's something wrong if she doesn't, is simply not accurate and can unfortunately lead to anxiety rather than joyful exploration. This journey is about discovery, not about meeting some externally imposed standard. It's about listening to your body, learning its language of pleasure. Now that we've started to open up this important conversation, demystifying some of the initial layers and touching on a foundational understanding of our unique anatomy and how pleasure, particularly concerning areas like the G-spot, is perceived and varies, it truly feels like we're at the beginning of a much richer exploration. There's so much more to how these sensations are experienced, how they connect to our emotional and psychological well-being, and how we can cultivate a deeper, more attuned relationship with our own bodies and their incredible capacity for pleasure. So, as we were saying, this journey into understanding ourselves, particularly areas like the G-spot, is so much about listening to our own bodies and honoring our unique experiences. It's less about finding a specific magical point and more about exploring a region that, for many, can offer a different pathway to pleasure. Now, one of the things that often comes up in discussions about G-spot stimulation is how it actually feels, and how that sensation might differ from, say, direct clitoral stimulation. Many women describe G-spot pleasure as a deeper, more diffuse, and sometimes more full-bodied sensation. While clitoral orgasms are often characterized by a sharp, intense peak, G-spot orgasms, for those who experience them, can feel more like waves of pleasure, sometimes building more slowly but with a profound intensity that can feel quite distinct. Again, the key here is individuality. These are general descriptions, and your own experience is your truest guide. Understanding the kind of touch or pressure that tends to be effective for this area can also be helpful. Unlike the clitoris, which is often most responsive to lighter, more focused touch, the G-spot area, being internal and made of somewhat less directly accessible erectile tissue, often responds better to firmer, more consistent pressure. Think of a gentle but definite come-hither motion with a finger or a suitably shaped toy, aimed towards the front wall of the vagina. It's also incredibly important to remember that this area, like all erogenous zones, becomes much more sensitive and responsive with overall arousal. It's not an on switch that works in isolation. When you're already feeling aroused, relaxed, and connected to your body, the G-spot area is more likely to swell slightly and become more receptive to pleasurable sensations. So, taking time for overall foreplay, for creating a sensual atmosphere, for tuning into your body as a whole, is paramount before focusing on any specific spot. This holistic approach makes the journey of exploration far more enjoyable and, frankly, more likely to lead to pleasurable discoveries. Now, let's address some of the common questions or even anxieties that can arise when women begin to explore this aspect of their pleasure. One very common feeling is, "I can't seem to find it," or "I'm not sure if I'm stimulating the right place." Please let go of any pressure here. As we mentioned, it's an area, a region, not a tiny, perfectly defined. It can take time, patience, and gentle experimentation to discover what feels good for you. And if you don't find that this particular area is a significant source of pleasure for you, that is perfectly okay. Doesn't mean anything is wrong with you or your body. Our bodies are wonderfully diverse. Another sensation that sometimes surprises women during G-spot exploration is the feeling of needing to urinate. This is actually quite common and normal. The G-spot area is very close to the urethra and the bladder, and the Skene's glands, which are in this region, can become stimulated. For some women, this sensation can actually precede a different kind of intense pleasure or even female ejaculation, which is distinct from urine. Understanding that this initial feeling can be a normal part of the arousal process for this area can help you relax into the experience rather than pulling back or feeling concerned. The journey of exploring female pleasure, including the G-spot, is profoundly one of self-discovery. It's about becoming more intimately acquainted with your own body, its unique responses, and its incredible capacity for joy. This self-exploration is a powerful foundation, whether you are partnered or not. Learning what feels good to you, understanding your own arousal patterns, and being able to create pleasure for yourself is incredibly empowering. It builds confidence, self-awareness, and a deeper appreciation for your own sensuality. And if you are in a partnership and choose to share these discoveries, this self-knowledge can greatly enhance intimacy and connection. Being able to communicate your desires, your preferences, and what feels good to your partner. And equally, being open to exploring together with curiosity and without pressure, can transform your intimate experiences. But remember, the starting point is always you, your comfort, your curiosity, your pleasure. This isn't about performing for someone else or trying to achieve a certain kind of response to validate an external idea of what female pleasure should be. So, if you're feeling curious and want to explore this for yourself, how can you approach it in a way that feels safe, comfortable, and respectful of your own pace? Firstly, create an environment where you feel completely relaxed and unhurried. This might mean setting aside dedicated time, ensuring privacy, and perhaps creating a sensual atmosphere with lighting, music, or anything else that helps you feel at ease and connected to your body. Lubrication is your best friend here. The vaginal tissues are delicate, and adequate lubrication makes any kind of internal exploration much more comfortable and pleasurable. There are many wonderful water-based or silicone-based lubricants available. Experimentation with positions can also be helpful. For self-exploration, some women find it easier to reach the G-spot area by lying on their back with knees bent, or perhaps by propping a pillow under their hips to tilt the pelvis slightly. Using clean fingers, you can gently explore the front wall of your vagina, about 1 to 3 inches inside, feeling for an area that might have a slightly different texture. Some describe it as a bit more spongy or ridged when aroused, and then experimenting with that firm, consistent pressure or a come-hither motion. The most important tools you can bring to this exploration are patience and curiosity. Don't expect instant fireworks or a specific outcome. Approach it as a gentle investigation, a way of getting to know yourself better. Pay attention to all the sensations, not just looking for one particular G-spot hit. Notice what feels good, what feels interesting, what feels neutral, and what feels uncomfortable. Your body is constantly giving you feedback, and learning to listen to that feedback without judgment is a profound skill. This process of discovery can be incredibly rewarding, opening up new avenues for pleasure and a deeper connection to your own amazing body, which is capable of so much more than we often give it credit for. Building this intimate dialogue with yourself is not just about physical sensation. It's about fostering a sense of wholeness, acceptance, and genuine self-love, which resonates through every area of your life. And as we continue to unfold these layers, recognizing the incredible diversity in our experiences and the importance of approaching our own bodies with such kindness and curiosity, it really opens the door to even deeper considerations. How does our mindset, our emotional state, and even our overall lifestyle influence our capacity for pleasure? How can we cultivate an even richer, more integrated sense of well-being that naturally enhances these intimate aspects of our lives? These are the kinds of questions that lead us further on this path of holistic self-discovery. So, we've talked about the physical aspects, the importance of self-exploration, patience, and listening to our own bodies when it comes to understanding areas like the G-spot. But as we touched upon, our capacity for pleasure, any kind of pleasure, is so deeply intertwined with our mental and emotional state, isn't it? It's almost impossible to fully open up to pleasurable physical sensations if our minds are cluttered with stress, anxiety, self-criticism, or unresolved emotional baggage. Think about it. When you're feeling overwhelmed or down, even things that normally bring you joy can feel muted or distant. The same is profoundly true for our intimate experiences and our connection to our own sensuality. Therefore, cultivating a mindset that supports pleasure is just as crucial as any physical technique or anatomical knowledge. This means actively working on self-acceptance, quieting that harsh inner critic that so many of us carry, and allowing ourselves to be present in our bodies without judgment. Practices like mindfulness, even just a few moments a day to connect with your breath and notice your physical sensations without trying to change them, can be incredibly powerful. They help us to get out of our heads and into our bodies, which is essential for experiencing pleasure. It's about creating an inner environment where joy feels welcome, where your body feels like a safe and wonderful place to be. If we are constantly battling feelings of unworthiness, or if we carry shame around our bodies or our sexuality, often from messages we absorbed long ago, it's like trying to experience a beautiful symphony while wearing noise-canceling headphones. We have to gently, lovingly, start to remove those internal barriers. This might also involve looking at our overall lifestyle. Are we chronically sleep-deprived? Are we fueling our bodies with nourishing foods? Or are we running on empty? Do we make time for activities that genuinely restore our energy and bring us joy, outside of explicitly sexual contexts? All of these things contribute to our overall vitality and our capacity to feel good, both physically and emotionally. When we prioritize our well-being in a holistic way, we create a fertile ground for pleasure to blossom in all areas of our lives, including our intimate experiences. It's about recognizing that feeling good, truly good, isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental aspect of a vibrant, healthy life, and it's something we absolutely deserve. Now, for those of us who are in partnerships, or who may choose to be in the future, how does this journey of self-discovery translate into shared intimacy? Well, the beautiful thing is, the more you understand and appreciate your own body and its responses, the more confidently and clearly you can communicate your desires and preferences to a partner. This isn't about handing them a manual, but about inviting them into your world with openness and trust. So often, intimacy can be clouded by guesswork, assumptions, or a reluctance to speak openly about what truly feels good. But when you've taken the time to explore and understand your own pleasure, you can guide your partner, share your discoveries, and embark on a journey of mutual exploration together. This kind of communication, built on self-awareness and mutual respect, can deepen intimacy in truly profound ways. It transforms sex from something that might feel performative or routine into a genuine expression of connection, affection, and shared pleasure. And remember, a partner who truly cares for your well-being will welcome this kind of open dialogue and will be eager to learn how to co-create more joyful experiences with you. It's also important to acknowledge that for many women, this journey might involve gently dismantling some of the societal or internalized narratives that have acted as barriers to embracing their full pleasure potential. We've been navigating a world that hasn't always championed female sexual autonomy or celebrated female pleasure openly and healthily. Sometimes, feelings of guilt, shame, or the idea that focusing on one's own pleasure is somehow selfish can linger. Recognizing these as learned constructs, rather than inherent truths, is a crucial step in freeing ourselves. This is where that mental strength we often talk about comes into play. The strength to question, to unlearn, and to consciously choose a new, more empowering perspective. You are reclaiming your narrative, and that is an incredibly powerful act. So, as we bring our conversation to a gentle close for now, what are some of the most important things to carry with you on this ongoing journey? Perhaps most fundamentally, remember that your experience of pleasure is uniquely yours, and it is valid. There is no right or wrong way to feel, and the G-spot, like any aspect of your sensuality, is an area for personal exploration, not a test to be passed. Patience, kindness towards yourself, and a spirit of gentle curiosity are your most valuable companions. Approach your body with love and respect, listen to its whispers, and honor its responses. This exploration is an act of profound self-care and self-discovery, one that can lead to a richer, more vibrant, and more fulfilling experience of being a woman. It's about understanding that your capacity for pleasure is a natural, beautiful, and integral part of who you are, deserving of your attention and celebration. Remember, these small acts of turning inwards, of listening to your body, of prioritizing your well-being, can create ripples that extend far beyond just your intimate life. They build confidence, they foster a deeper sense of self-acceptance, and they empower you to show up more fully and authentically in all areas of your life. This isn't just about a specific spot. It's about embracing your whole self. We'd love to hear your thoughts. This is a space for open and respectful conversation, so if you feel comfortable, please share any insights or experiences you've had on your own journey of self-discovery in the comments below. Your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And, of course, if you found this conversation helpful or thought-provoking, please give this video a like. It really helps more women find this kind of empowering content. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel for more discussions on personal growth, mindset, and living your most empowered life. Thank you so much for joining me today, for being open to this exploration. Here's to embracing all of who you are, to celebrating your unique journey, and to living a life filled with genuine, authentic pleasure and profound well-being, at every age and every stage.